Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on another edition of the program Niger Delta Today. My name is Xavier Robert. Today on the program, migration has become a defining reality for millions of Nigerians seeking better opportunities abroad. But while many leave in search of greener pastures, not every journey ends as planned. Conflict, economic hardship, immigration challenges, and xenophobic violence have forced many Nigerians to abandon lives they painstakingly built overseas and return home to begin again. This afternoon, we examine what happens after the homecoming and the role government must play in helping returnees rebuild their lives with dignity, using Dole returnees from South Africa as case study. But before we delve into that, let's tell you that today attention shifts to Abuja as the Niger Delta Agricultural Development and Investment Summit gets underway, bringing together government officials, investors, development partners, and agribusiness stakeholders to chart a new course for agriculture in the Niger Delta. One of the major highlights of the summit is the planned launch of a $500 million agricultural development fund by the Niger Delta Development Commission. The fund is expected to support agricultural production, attract investment, and unlock the region's vast agribusiness potential. The summit is being organized by the NDDC in collaboration with the Office of the Vice President and is expected to focus on practical strategies for expanding commercial agriculture, improving food security, creating jobs, and of course encouraging private sector participation across the 9 Niger Delta states. According to the NDDC, discussions will also center on strengthening value chains in key crops such as palm oil, cocoa, cassava, and rice, while showcasing ongoing interventions, including the distribution of tractors, mechanized farming initiatives, and youth-focused agricultural programs. So the federal government says the summit represents a strategic effort to diversify the economy beyond oil and positioning agriculture as major driver of investment, employment, and sustainable economic growth. As deliberations begin today, stakeholders will be looking beyond policy announcements to concrete commitments that can translate into improved agricultural productivity and, of course, tangible benefits for communities across the Niger Delta. And it is, of course, hoped that with this introduction and the summit being upstream, indeed, that the Niger Delta would refocus its energies into the potentials that agriculture has, especially when you consider the vast arable land that the Niger Delta region is blessed with, and the fact that it hasn't been tapped, considering the enormous number of people who are of the Niger Delta extraction. It would be hoped that this attention that the NDDC is now focusing on the agri sector would lead to a much needed boost in the GDP of not just the Niger Delta, but the country at large. But on a story of interest, another issue from Cross River State now, the devastating flood-induced landslide that claimed the lives of 5 people, including 4 siblings from the same family in Ikarawantim, Calabar municipality, has once again brought the dangers of urban flooding and poor environmental resilience into sharp focus. Following the tragedy, Governor Basio II visited the affected families, describing the loss of lives as heartbreaking, while assuring that his administration would strengthen flood mitigation measures and improve emergency response systems to, of course, reduce the risk of similar disasters in the future. Well, the incident has renewed conversations about the increasing impact of extreme weather drainage infrastructure, urban planning, and disaster preparedness, especially as several states across the Niger Delta continue to experience heavy rainfall and flash flooding. Beyond responding to emergencies after they occur, many are asking what more governments can do to anticipate disasters, protect vulnerable communities, and save lives before the next downpour arrives. Well, Governor Basio II had spoken at that particular visitation of the victims, and he made a couple of remarks regarding the issue of climate change and how it has affected the lives of citizens and should also be paid more attention to. Let you listen to what the governor said.
Well, I mean, very to us that climate change is real. The impact here has been devastating. You can see it has taken off the culvert and everything, and the water here has flooded some homes, even some churches that are nearby. And I believe that the immediate urgent action we have to take here is to ask the Commissioner of Works to immediately get this thoroughfare opened and then get a proper culvert here and then try to channel the water properly of this particular location so that people here can reside peacefully. It's clear that the climate change has moved certain things beyond what were planned for in the past. Most of the drains have to be expanded, more channels have to be created. Take this to the National Economic Council where we have to discuss, because there are some really fundamental structural issues that are involved, particularly with a coastal state like ours, Cross River State, with one of the longest, what I would say, coastline you can think of in Nigeria.
As Governor Basio too, addressing the issue of flooding, which of course led to the loss of lives, citizens. Most sadly, most of the persons who lost their lives, 4 young adults, were from one family, and it is really sad when you look at the pain and the psychological toll this is going to take on the family of the victim. Well, the governor has, of course, shown commitment, the state government, towards addressing these issues, and some of the reasons for this particular conversation would have us exposing those steps that the government is taking towards addressing or forestalling a reoccurrence of this very sad incident in Cross River State. Well, to discuss the state's response, the immediate interventions underway, and the long-term strategy for flood control in Cross River State, we are now joined by the Commissioner for Information in Cross River State, Honorable Erasmus Ekpang. Good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us, Commissioner.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Sorry, the network has been so bad. Good afternoon, everybody.
Quite understandable. Well, the death of 5 residents, including 4 children from one family, has left many Cross Riverians devastated. Beyond expressing condolences, what has been government's immediate response to the affected families, and what practical support is being provided to help them recover from such an unimaginable loss?
Okay, thank you so very much. Incidentally, it's quite a very unfortunate incident. That not just the family of 4, we actually lost 6 persons. There was another baby that was, carried out by the flood, and then, of course, a man went to save 1 or 2 kids, and then eventually the man died too. So I think 6 in all. Well, it's quite unfortunate. The government already has taken on some proactive steps. They are taking that earlier on when NIMEC had won. Cross River State was one of the states, that were actually included for this flooding thing. So we are taking up, proactive measures, for urban safety, environmental management, and agricultural resilience. Through our Calabar Urban Development Authority, we have done dredging of waterways, widening of our canals, and then, of course, the canals that are in flood-prone areas, we've done all that. And then, of course, we've cleared and constructed new drainages, clear ways for, getting prepared, for the big flooding. But unfortunately, this was more to areas that are undulating where, eventually there were landslides, that actually took a house totally, and then, took the 4 kids and all that. So the government for now had, the flooding issue is very complex. It's not just the flood as it is. We have the health factors, environmental factors, of course, the humanitarian factor, and the educational factors. So for health factors, the measures the health has taken is, we know that most times when these floods happen, reptiles are taken away from their hidden, dens and all that. Of course, water will be contaminated. We'll have stagnant water that would, result to waterborne diseases. So the Ministry of Health has swung into action, providing palliative measures for, most of these affected people, motivated. Of course, mosquito nets have been set. And then, of course, anti-malaria drugs also have been given to, these people. But for the family themselves, government yesterday, through the office of the Special Advisor on General Duties and SEMA, had visited these, families to actually, give them some cash donation just to, keep them up a bit for now. That wouldn't bring their family back, but at least that's the best the government for now are doing. And of course, we are working with the primary health care for, to be proactive piling drugs in case of snake biting and all that. And then the governor himself took, the governor, Senator Prince Bashir, took inspections of most of these sites, even personally visited these, affected persons and then the areas too. And then, of course, give a marching order to the Commissioner for Works, to start intervention work immediately on those aspects and areas we can actually intervene while more drainages, more channels, the channels that were actually blocked, taking debris from other corners, are now being cleared immediately and all that. And then, of course, we are building more drainages to meet up some of these canals that were blocked and, of course, expand them and all that. So I think so far, it's quite unfortunate. Most of these natural disasters, God knows better. And we're working closely, too, with humanitarian partners, the Red Cross, Humanity Without Borders, to provide more support for us. So that's how far we've done here.
All right. Well, Commissioner, Governor Basio, too, has indeed pledged to strengthen flood mitigation measures and emergency response systems following this tragedy. And as you had earlier mentioned, there were warnings before this time from NIMET and allied agencies regarding some states that must take precautionary measures and be more attentive to the issue of flooding. Would you say that Cross River State, as one of the states that were mentioned, indeed took this serious enough? Because some people are saying that perhaps if measures were put in place, this could have been abated.
Oh, thank you so very much. Yeah, we're very proactive. Most of these natural disasters, you have the Philippines, you have that happened in Asia, a lot of people die. You have the wildfires and all that. When it comes, most times, even with these proactive measures, of course, when it comes well. And it's only for us to actually, redefend, reabrace, and then wait for, further outcome. Because I know the rains have not really started. Even as I'm speaking to you at the moment, it's raining here in Calabar where we are. So the truth about it is that, yes, proactive measures were taken, like I said, in areas of urban safety, environmental management, and cultural resilience. We have done a lot of dredging. We have constructed a lot of drainages, to, cut out channels and all that in preparation for this flood. And then, of course, we have done clearing of gutters and then demolished structures and shanties that were built on natural floodplains and all that. All that has been done. Of course, we have even set environmental laws to protect, to prevent for blockage of drainage channels. Farmers were even sensitized to adopt proactive strategies to minimize, crop loss and the yield during this period and all that. A lot of indiscriminate, we have stopped indiscriminate deforestation, trying to plant bamboos in areas where we'll be able to, obstruct this flood. But it comes very, very massive. You see what's happening even in the VI, where you park cars, and of course, it's not as if the government there wouldn't have done these measures, but then you see cars, the flood getting ahead of even, a jeep and all that. So these are natural, very, very embarrassing and very sad situations that we will just still continue to try our best. Right. But it is being, the measures to handle that now. Like I told you, medical have seen into action. The environmental side, of course, Commissioner for Works has been given marching order to, set out more drainages, repair, fix some areas, and then do those interventions he can, while we still liaise with the Red Cross and other humanitarian agencies to see how well we can cope with. But from little financial support and, of course, taking most of the people that have been rendered homeless to prepare a place for them, that has been ongoing as I speak at this moment.
All right, Honourable Commissioner. Well, climate experts have repeatedly warned that climate change is increasing the frequency and intensity of extreme rainfall. Even the governor mirrored it when he was addressing the issue. At the same time, rapid urban development, you talked about drainage being blocked and construction on flood-prone land continue. What would you say about construction on flood-prone areas? Is that something that the Ministry of Works is working on intensively?
developmental agency are, are top gear on that, because for now, we're even working towards demolishing or getting some properties out that were actually, built on, drainage lines, blocking flood-prone areas and all that. So I think we're actually trying to get that done in a very perfect way. For us, it's total getting Cross River State rebuilt, at the same time seeing how we can mitigate most of these natural disasters that are coming. So it's not really, it's not really been easy with us. Mind you, Cross River State lays, we have some level of, would I say we're situated along the coastal plain of the Atlantic Ocean. Of course, our plain is very, very low, so flooding is always expected. This is what we always expect, even before the warning of the Nigerian meteorological agencies and all that. So we will continue to try our best, while at the same time we seek for, a foreign assist, foreign help from most of these humanitarian partners, to still look into, Cross River State as it is here.
All right. As we begin to wind down the conversation, there's this aspect of Cross River that made it very distinctive and unique from other states of the Niger Delta. Growing up as a child in Cross River State, it was visibly noticed that every corner of the street, major streets, had designated areas where people could effortlessly dispose of their waste, which of course those waste would be carted away by designated agencies. Is that practice still there? Because indiscriminate waste disposal has proven over time to be part of the reasons we experience this flooding across the Niger Delta.
Yeah, thank you so very much. Yes, of course, it's still very practiced. Calabar, the capital of Cross River State, is one of the cleanest cities in Nigeria, as I speak to you. When you drive and it's difficult for you to throw even a rub of sweet on the streets of Calabar. The new administration actually brought in environmental sanitation again. We visited it. And then, of course, there's that mindset sensitization that is on every citizen of Cross River State to sit at home the last Saturday of a month, to clean out. And then, of course, clean all your drainages and all that. We're working towards it. Besides that, we're even opening new drainages channels, where we saw that most of these canals have, the geography of Calabar, the geological aspect of Calabar is such that most of these drainage channels are built into canals, where we have very big domes, drainages that could even drive a truck on them, and all that. So we're trying to clear all the pathways that actually take us to mountains. And at the same time, we strengthen some broken back areas, rebuild some, concretize some areas so that have been submerged, due to, frequent floods in the past and all that. So, yes, the Calabar, then is still the way it is. But mind you, the population then would have been about 2 million or 1 million something. We're more than 4 million now. And then, of course, we generate waste every day. So we're trying to manage that all together, put together.
All right. Well, finally, Honorable Commissioner, residents who watched an entire family suffer that fate as a result of the torrential rain are now understandably anxious. What assurances can you give Cross Riverians that this tragedy will become a turning point, one that leads to stronger planning, faster emergency response, and, of course, concrete investments that will better lives and property in the years ahead? Really hoping that this does not happen again. Is that the consciousness of the government at this time?
Yeah, thank you so very much. The governor, Senator for his ambassador, is very humane and, of course, very compassionate. Of course, in his mantra, the people's first, is always people's first before any other thing. That's why him himself took that, he swung into action by himself. He went down, compensated, spoke with his family, saw the drainage. Most of this, our it's weak, not really too firm. And then most of these buildings, like, sorry to say, were actually not taking the respect of the development agencies and all that. Most of these buildings were actually built in knolls and all that, where the soil is so soft, prone to landslide and some level of this happens everywhere in the world. Like I keep saying, when it comes to natural disasters and all that. So for us, like I told you, the health factor is not is not sleeping. Environmental factors are not sleeping. FEMA is out there doing a lot of, distribution of items, food and all that. And of course, the education that will continue to sensitize. We are working closely with SOMTEC through the United UNICEF, to do more sensitization in our various communities. And of course, the Commissioner and Ministry of Works are working so tirelessly to ensure that they reinforce most of these drainages. And of course, create more avenues for, water locks, to pass through direct them to the channel. Besides any other measures, we are very proactive. We are ready. We are getting our primary, waiting for that vaccine just in case of snake bites and malaria issues. We have already distributed a lot of anti-malaria vitamins and all that. A lot of nets have been given out already to most of those, supposed prone areas. And then bamboos are planted in some areas here.
Commissioner for Information, Cross River State, Honorable Erasmus Adbn, thank you very much for bringing us these updates.
I really appreciate this. Thank you so very much.
So we'll take a breather, bring you Niger Delta updates next. First, the Niger Delta updates. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has reaffirmed the National Assembly's commitment to transparency and citizen participation as he declared open the 2026 National Assembly Open Week in Abuja. The event also featured the unveiling of the House of Representatives' three-year legislative scorecard. The National Assembly Tuesday opened its doors to Nigerians as the 2026 Open Week got underway, with renewed calls for greater transparency, accountability, and public engagement in the legislative process. Declaring the event open, Senate President Godswill Akpabio said Parliament belongs to the people and must remain open to public scrutiny and participation.
Before you comment on social media, take time to go through what we have actually done. Our job here is to do and ensure that we make laws that will last for generations. We are not making laws for ourselves. We are making laws for the protection of Nigeria's future and for generations unborn. So I want to encourage all of us that democracy flourishes when citizens remain active participants in the work of the Parliament. The distance between Parliament and the people should never again be measured in walls or gates, but only in the willingness of citizens to walk through those doors. My singular honor and privilege to declare the 2026 National Assembly Open Week officially open, to the glory of God. May this week deepen public trust, may it strengthen the bond between the two parliaments and also the people. May it remind every Nigerian that democracy is perfected not by silence, but by participation, not by buildings, but by citizens, and not merely by the laws we pass, but the confidence that those laws.
Moving away from that, as part of its sustained commitment to expanding access to quality education and reducing the financial burden on parents and guardians, the Akwa Ibom State government has approved over 1.9 billion naira for the payment of examination fees for students at the basic and secondary education levels. In a statement issued by the Commissioner for Information Right, Honorable Onyeka Numana, the approved funds will cover critical examination requirements for students of Akwa Ibom State origin, including external examinations, registration processes, and other administrative obligations. A total of 1.368 billion naira has been allocated for the payment of West African Senior School Certificate examination fees and related expenses, including national identification number, NIN registration, online and offline biometric registration, science practical examinations, continuous assessment, monitoring, and examination administration. The state government also approved 50 million naira for the payment of National Business and Technical Examinations Board and NABTEB examination fees, In addition, 550 million naira has been earmarked for the conduct of key state examinations, including the common entrance and placement examination, the basic education certificate examination, the senior secondary 2 promotion entrance examination into senior science colleges, and the entrance examination into the government model girls secondary school, Akwa Ibom State. Governor Moino directed the Ministry of Education and relevant ministries, departments and agencies to ensure immediate implementation of the approval mandate to facilitate the timely payment of all examination-related fees and ensure that no student is disadvantaged by financial constraints. Away from that, ongoing action of local government councils in Akwa Ibom State has been described as an opportunity for council chairman to intensify efforts toward improving the welfare of their people. The chairman of Etimego local government area, Honorable Gideon Noah, made the remark while receiving members of the Akwa Ibom State Assembly during an oversight council secretary of state. Honorable Noah said his administration has earmarked on projects, including the construction of urban markets, award of educational grants to law students, and the construction of a 1.1-kilometer drainage system.
In terms of keeping the urban area clean, we are good at desilting the drainages of the Etimego local government area, because when the drains are filled up, water is going to be a problem to the very poor houses we have around here. So what we do as government is to desil the drainages to make sure that you have a free flow of water in this place. Youth empowerment. We've done several youth empowerment. We've done women empowerment. We've severally given just to assist them as a little grant to assist them in their little businesses.
The chairman of the local government area, Barrister Otebe Nwoko, highlighted the construction of a multi-purpose administrative block, computer-based training programs for youths, and other human capital development initiatives.
So we commenced the building, and like we started as if it was a difficult task. Today we have the building of the set, and then we proceeded from there. When you stand up there, you see that there was need for a gate, a beautiful gate like that. So I went to Uyo. When I got to Uyo, I went through the information drive. If you see, I think 2 buildings at the first ground. The Oron house, Oron secretariat was the one we went and picked. I said, that's the one I want, because it was very beautiful. So I took my builder, I took him to the place, so it is now.
Remarks. Members of the House Committee on Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs commended the developmental efforts of the councils and encouraged the chairman to place greater emphasis on youth empowerment.
Through you, people of Etimego are constantly privileged to also give young men an opportunity to demonstrate leadership. And because what we have done has shown that the allocation given to this council by the federal government is properly utilized.
If this tempo will be maintained, in less than no time, local government councils will be a fair story that we can inform people. Councils are performing very well, massive structures, tirings of roads, buildings of bridges, and so on and so forth. And your own is one of such which we will go out to see this thing.
A council chairman further appreciated President Bola Tinubu and Governor Moino for creating an enabling environment that allows local government councils to prudently manage their allocations for the grassroots. In Edo State, the police command has rescued 3 students of Ambrose Ali University Ekpoma who were abducted by suspected kidnappers following a coordinated joint security operation in Esan West local government area. The operation carried out by security agencies also led to the death of 1 suspected kidnapper, the arrest of another, and the recovery of arms and other exhibits. The students, identified as Praise Obabali, Favor Okoroji and Balogun Precious were kidnapped on July 12 during an attack at the Ujemen GT extension area of Ekpoma. The incident also claimed the life of a 300-level student, Peter Adbn, who was shot dead by the attackers while addressing journalists in Ekpoma. The Commissioner of Police, Monday Abonika, represented by the Police Public Relations Officer ASP Eno Ikoidem, said the rescue followed a joint operation involving tactical police teams, the Nigerian Army, the Edo State Security Corps, and local hunters after receiving a distress call.
By the police that were recovered at the scene where the kidnappers were busted in their hideouts in Era Forest. We have these 3 AK-47 rifles, and we have live ammunitions numbering about 36 in number. These are the magazines. Recovered also were phones, power bank, chargers, battery, including bags, which some of the kidnappers or suspected kidnappers fled and abandoned alongside the victims. We also have the rescued hostages here with us, and if you want, they might tell you the experience and how they were rescued by security operatives of the command.
Speaking after the rescue, the students recounted how they were moved from one location to another in the forest while their captors demanded ransom from their families.
About 7 something, me and my sister went to get our power bank. Then on our way back, we were already at our gate. Then we were knocking. Then all of a sudden, so the armed men just surrounded us. Me, my sister, and one other lady that was passing by. So we were like 4 in numbers, but the fourth girl rather, she ran away. So when they surrounded us, then they told us to move. Then we were going, and my phone was on, like the torchlight was on since I was using it to walk to my house. Then they collected my own phone first. Then while going, I saw some certain people in their compound. Then I just had to wave, like, help. So they shot their guns. So everybody.
Authorities have assured residents that efforts are ongoing to apprehend other fleeing members of the gang as the government intensifies measures to improve security and protect lives and property across the state. And lastly, on Niger Delta updates, reliable infrastructure and stable electricity remain critical to business growth. In Edo State, the government says it is strengthening efforts to create an enabling environment where industries and small businesses can thrive. Governor Mabolo gave the assurance while receiving members of the Edo State Welders Association at the government house in Benin City.
Today is, to me, is a wonderful day to see young people, able young men that are ready to fight for themselves. You can't say because you are strong, you want to go into criminalities. Instead, you believe that working for yourself is the best way to go. I'm so happy to see all your faces shining. One thing that you can't take out from Edo State is the strength we have. A lot of knowledge is in this land. I believe that you people sitting here, you can use iron to create whatever you want to create, to design whatever you want to design, and that is your strength.
Well, that's Sergeant Niger Delta updates. We take a breather, and when we return, the focus of the day takes center stage as we look at dozens of Edo indigents who recently returned to Nigeria after fleeing xenophobic attacks in South Africa. Stay.
Every Every day, decisions are made, policies are announced, challenges emerge, and lives are changed. But beyond the headlines, beyond the politics, beyond the noise, are the conversations that matter. On Softline, Nigeria's leading voices unpack the issues shaping our future, from governance to business, education, healthcare, technology, security, and the economy. Real conversations, expert insights, solutions that move the nation forward. Because understanding today's decisions shapes tomorrow's opportunities. Now airing 4 p.m. every weekday and Saturdays. Softline, where informed decisions begin.
The global business is never static. Watch the market report on Adbn TV for business information, latest happening business deals, government economic policies, stock, crude oil and commodity trading, financial upstick and downstick, and the world of organized private sector. The market report showing on Adbn TV 1 to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday. The market report bringing you up to speed in the business world.
Every second, a story breaks.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has formally presented the 2026 appropriation bill to the National Assembly.
The nation reacts. The world shifts. History moves in real time. Before the noise, before the opinions. One screen keeps you connected. From the headlines shaking the nation to the stories everyone talks about tomorrow. Stream anytime, anywhere. When the story matters, you know where to turn. Adbn, a part of you.
Thanks for staying tuned. Well, dozens of Edo indigents recently returned to Nigeria after fleeing xenophobic attacks in South Africa, bringing to an end a painful chapter marked by displacement, loss of livelihoods, and uncertainty. In response, the Edo State government received the returnees and announced a support package that includes a 1 million naira grant for each beneficiary, as well as access to soft loans intended to help them secure accommodation, restart businesses, and reintegrate into society. Let's hear Governor Kwabolo and the returnees on this particular development.
My brothers and sisters, welcome back home. The most important thing that you are back home. They might loot your properties. They might take everything from you. But your life, they have not taken it from you. We as government will continue to support our own children wherever they are. If they are in distress, we will rescue them. We'll make them comfortable so that they won't pass the same experience they have passed through in the hands of the evil ones. South Africa, I remembered several years ago when they were here. They have businesses here. They have everything here. But Nigerians, we can't do what they have done to our people. Even if you want to tell somebody, leave my country, give them time to leave. Give them time, let them pack their things, or sell off their property, then leave your country. Why are you killing them? Because I learned that they have killed some of us. My prayer is that God will give you peace. If you identify what you want to do, come to us. We'll give you a soft loan to start up.
A heart full of gratitude on behalf of my colleagues, the diasporans. Peace amongst us here, Your Excellency, and the entire Edo State. are men and women who has sojourned, and by the grace of God in the Nigerian character, we do well wherever we go. And in business, we have succeeded and all that until something happened in South Africa. There are men, look at him, with 11 cars, houses. South Africa swallowed it. Somebody with shops, South Africa swallowed it. Amongst us, even our husbands, South Africa swallowed them, Your Excellency. So you find us here. When we were coming, we had to literally run with only one thing that we felt was the luggage that we could carry, and that was the bread that we had, because there was nothing. Some of us could not even go with a single dress from the house. That's the reason why when you see us today putting on uniform is because the Edo State government has clotted our nakedness.
Well, beyond the immediate financial intervention, the initiative has sparked broader conversation about the responsibilities of governments towards citizens returning from crisis abroad. As migration continues to shape the lives of many Nigerians, questions are also being asked about reintegration, economic opportunities at home, and how states can support vulnerable citizens while addressing the factors that push many young people to leave the country in the first place. Well, to examine these issues and the thinking behind the Edo State government's intervention, we're joined by the special advisor to the governor on media and publicity, himself also official spokesperson to the governor of Edo State. Mr. Boogie Okwemoy joins us from Edo State. Good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us on the program this afternoon.
Good day to you. Thank you.
The images of these returnees arriving home tell stories of people who left Nigeria in search of opportunity, but returned after losing businesses, jobs, and in some cases, years of investment because of xenophobic attacks. Beyond the emotional welcome, and what informed Governor Mondo Okpebholo's decision to immediately provide this 1 million naira grant to each returnee instead of limiting support to temporary relief?
You know, like we always say, to understand his style of leadership, you have to understand the kind of person Governor Mondo Okpebholo is. Governor Mondo Okpebholo is a compassionate, empathetic, very considerate, very emotional person. He's very easily moved and touched by the conditions that Edo people live in and experience. So when this whole drama around the South African xenophobic activity started, his concern immediately, naturally, being the kind of person that he is, went straight to Edo indigenes that were in South Africa. And at every point,
we apologize as we interrupt this program broadcast to bring you a live transmission of an ADBN event.
President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, represented today by much respected Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Prince Lateef Olasunkanmi Fagbemi, my royal brother. Members of the National Assembly serving and former members here present, our chief host, the indefatigable Honorable Minister of the FCT, Ezenwo Nyesom Wike, my Lord, the Chief Judge of the FCT High Court, Honorable Yusuf, the Honorable Grand Qadi, Honorable Justice Ibrahim Rufai Imam, Honorable President, Customary Court of Appeal, Honorable Justice Stanley Adekunle Lawal, Judges of the FCT High Court, Chief Registrar, FCT High Court, Hajia Hadiza M. Dodo, Secretary Judicial Service Committee of the FCT, Mrs. Omolola Akindele, associates of the Honorable Minister who came with us to all the commissionings and flag-offs, come rain, come shine, they come, stakeholders of the FCT, and a very special friend of the FCT, proprietor, Fort Lugard University, Warum, Chief Ogu Onoja, SAN. heads of federal agencies here present, FCT Cognoscenti, the head of service, the executive secretary of the FCDA, chief of staff to the Honorable Minister, SSAs to the Honorable Minister, mandate secretaries, the General Counsel and FCT Secretary Legal Services Secretariat, Barrister Salman Dahu, permanent secretaries, heads of agencies, FCT, and coordinators, heads of security agencies here present, chairmen of area councils here present, women's groups, youth groups, our flower girl and her chaperone, Haja Hadiza, members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would truly warmly welcome you to this very special event today. My name is Eugenia Abu. I'm your Director of Ceremonies. Earlier in the day, our distinguished guests, the band played very many beautiful songs to keep us happy here, and one of those songs was The Land is Green. Land is Green is salute to the Nigerian nation and the flag, sang by none other than lawyer, one of you, T.Y. Bello, photographer and singer. Today is day 26 of presidential commissionings of FCT projects across the board. We are counting down. These commissionings were well designed, well apportioned to showcase infrastructural development in the FCT and to commemorate the 3rd year anniversary of His Excellency President Bola Tinubu. Today's event, the commissioning of the FCT High Court Judges' Quarters, is truly a beautiful one. I love beautiful houses. But a house has no character if it is not well built. And all will agree with me that what we see before us today are truly gorgeous houses to behold. No cost was spared to give the FCT High Court judges quarters that are befitting to enable them carry out their assignment efficiently. The contractor Details 2 Nigeria Limited understood the assignment and delivered clean lines, great ambience, and houses that truly speak to the quality and standards of the FCT under the leadership of the Honorable Minister of FCT, Ezenwo Nyesom Wike. And that entity in the FCT responsible for planning, development, and maintenance of infrastructure and public facilities is the FCDA. They have supervised and engaged the contractor to do the needful at standards of the FCT. On behalf of the FCT administration, welcome with me the Executive Secretary FCDA, Engineer Richard Yonana Dauda, to give us an overview of this project. Please encourage him, his walk is long. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, here represented by the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice of the Federation, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, ranking members of the National Assembly that are here, both serving and former, and other members of the National Assembly, the Honorable Minister of FCT, His Excellency Barrister Ezenwo Nyesom Wike, CON, the Chief Justice of the FCT High Court, Honorable Justice Saini Baba Yusuf, and other justices and heads of courts that are here, Area Council Chairmen, all other top government officials and functionaries that are present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, kindly permit me to align with the well-established protocol by the Director of Ceremony as I present a technical overview of the construction of 20 judges' quarters for the FCT High Court judges in Katampe District in Abuja. Your Excellency, in line with the mandate of providing public infrastructure and public buildings in the Federal Capital City, the FCT administration awarded the contract for the design and construction of 40 judges' quarters at Katampe District, Abuja. 20 of these are specifically for the judges of the FCT High Court. Your Excellency, the project is aimed at providing secured, functional, and comfortable residential accommodation for judicial officers to enhance the delivery of justice, which is critical for the sustenance of law in any society. The welfare of judicial officers has a strong correlation with the efficiency of delivery of justice in our nation. Your Excellency, the contract for the design and construction of judges' quarters in Katampe was awarded to Messrs. Details to Dot Development Nigeria Limited in September 2024, and work commenced immediately. The scope of works for the project includes the construction of 20 fully furnished 5-bedroom duplexes with boys' quarters for each of the houses within the FCT High Court Judges Estate. Other amenities within the estates include event center, neighborhood shop, gatehouse, generator houses and with generators, general landscaping with a recreational ground, and perimeter fencing. Other estate infrastructure like asphalt paved access road, walkways, electricity power supply, water regulation are also provided. Your Excellency, the project has been fully completed and delivered in line with standards and specifications and ready for commissioning. We thank the President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and the Honorable Minister of FCT, Barrister Ezen Onyoson Wike, CON, for the privilege to be part of this project. Thank you all for coming, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Our special guest of honor, sir. The ESFCDA has already given us the information we need to know concerning the fact that these houses have been delivered to standard and specification. Everyone has their niche in life, and so it is with construction. Inside construction, there are architects, builders, engineers, and those who get involved in the day-to-day, bricklayers, masons, painters, electricians, and so on. And then for interiors, there are interior decorators whose job is to make the house a home. A structure is beautiful, but it's even more so when the interior is special. These houses are truly special in and out, truly pleasing to the eye. To talk us through the ambience of these houses, please welcome with me the contractors to the project and the MD of Details 2 Development Nigeria Limited, architect Akko Adakboyi, who will make his way now and tell us how these lines became these lines and what it is that you would see as you walk around the establishment. Welcome.
The President and Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, ably represented by the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, SAN. Members of the National Assembly, serving and former, the Honorable Minister of FCT, Barrister Nyesom Ezenwike, CON, the Honorable Chief Judge of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Honorable Justice Hussaini Baba Yusuf, all heads of court, distinguished invited guests, members of press, ladies and gentlemen. For want of time, please permit me to stand on the already established protocols. My name is Architect Akko Adakboyi, FNIA, Managing Director of Details to Dot Development Nigeria Limited, a homegrown Nigerian construction company. Today, we complete an assignment that began in October 2024. The 40-unit judges housing development was conceived under His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda to provide befitting homes for the judiciary. A few weeks ago, we commissioned the first two sections, the Court of Appeal and the Federal High Court. We now hand over the third and final section of the 40-unit development, the FCT High Court Judges' Quarters. With this commissioning, the initial mandate given to us is complete. At the groundbreaking, we gave our word. Residencies built to the highest standards of quality, comfort, and functionality. Across 40 units and 3 of Nigerian courts, that word has been honored in full. Details to Dot has delivered. Distinguished guests, the FCT High Court section is the largest of the 3, comprising 20 fully furnished 5-bedroom duplexes, 20 fully furnished 3-bedroom domestic quarters, dedicated power and utility infrastructure, gatehouse and security infrastructure, a dedicated event center and corner shop, Each duplex offers spacious main, private and family lounges, a dedicated study, 5 en-suite bedrooms, a modern kitchen, an ante-room, a gym, 3 en-suite domestic rooms, and a parking for up to 6 vehicles, all within a secure and comfortable environment. For nearly 2 years, this project has provided steady work and income for many hardworking Nigerian men and women. Every one of them can look at what stands here today and say with pride, I was involved. A development of this scale is completed well only when the client refuses to accept less. The Honorable Minister of FCT, Barrister Nyesom Ezenwike, CON, was exactly that client. From the first foundations to the final handover, he visited this site frequently and held everyone to standards now on display. We thank him sincerely for entrusting an indigenous company with a project of this importance. 40 units, 3 courts, 1 development, now fully delivered. We are deeply honored that Details to Dot was chosen for this assignment. I'm prouder still on the manner in which it has been completed. On behalf of Details to Dot Development Nigeria Limited, I thank His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Honorable Minister of the FCT, the FCDA, the judiciary, and every individual whose effort brought this development to completion. God bless the Federal Capital Territory. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Architect Adakwoyi. These are the contractors to the project, Details to Dot, and they have explicated what is to be expected when you walk into these buildings. A point of note is that when you have a client who refuses to accept less, that is the way that the FCT minister is described, coming to the site several times and ensuring that everything is done to specification along with his team. We're thankful for 26 days. This 26th day is special. Like every other day, we have gone everywhere across the FCT, where Mr. President has continued to provide unflappable support. We're thankful for rain, for those rains provide the farm produce. We're truly thankful for the sun, without which we do not have vitamin D and there will be no solar. We're thankful for good health, friends and family. We're thankful for the implementer-in-chief of Mr. President's Renewed Hope agenda in all the development infrastructural projects in the FCT. The Honorable Minister of the FCT, of course. Today, we are thankful for our guests, especially the judiciary, chief beneficiaries of this commissioning today. Permit me, therefore, now to welcome to the podium the head of service of the FCT, the very gentle Mrs. Nancy Nathan, to deliver the vote of thanks. I'd like to apologize to my brother, Ewedono. It is time now for us to invite a man with whom I've spent many years, who is very well known to my family and to my late father, the Chief Judge of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Honorable Justice Hussaini Baba Yusuf, who is leading all other High Court judges of Abuja. Please come forward, sir. Thank you very much. Agba Olodudu, Nago, Olale.
Very proud of you. Let me have this. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, who is ably represented by my brother, Chief Lateef Alasunkom Ifagbemi SAN Life Venture, the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Ezenwa Wike, Life Venture, the Honorable the Grand Cadi of the Federal Capital Territory, Alhaji Imam Rufai, the President, Customary Court of Appeal, my Lord Justice Lawal Olakunle, very distinguished senators here present,
other legal luminaries present, the honorable judges of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, all well seated, my brother Chief Ogo Onoja SAN, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is with profound gratitude and deep sense of duty that I extend warm greetings to all distinguished guests who have joined us here today to witness and celebrate this historic occasion of the presidential commissioning of the FCT High Court Judges' Quarters. Less than 2 years ago, we converged on this ground for the historic flag-off ceremony of this milestone, and today, in less than 2 years, we are gathered here again, yet again, to witness its official commissioning. What started as a vision nurtured and driven by relentless dedication of the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory has finally unfolded into something extraordinary. This landmark intervention, and indeed the industry deployed towards its accelerated delivery, stand as a living proof of what is possible when determination meets purpose. For us in the FCT High Court, there is no doubt that today's ceremony is more than a mere commissioning of physical structures. It is for the most part a celebration of a deliberate investment in the dignity of judicial office, the welfare of judges, and a profound testament to the abiding belief that dispensation of justice, being a bedrock of our cherished democracy, must never be plagued by poor living conditions and anxieties associated with post-service life. The strength of every democratic society rests upon strong institutions, and amongst those institutions, the judiciary occupies a unique place and entrusted with the solemn duty of interpreting the law, protecting rights, resolving disputes, restraining arbitrariness, and preserving the balance upon which democratic governance rests. For judges to discharge this onerous duty with courage, independence, and clarity of mind, their welfare and working conditions must receive consistent and practical attention. This project therefore speaks to a fundamental truth. The welfare of judicial officers is not a privilege. It is an institutional necessity that promotes stability, enhances productivity, safeguards personal security, and preserves the dignity that must accompany judicial office. A supportive environment for the bench is inseparable from an effective rule of law, and this project embodies the convergence of infrastructural foresight with effective administration of justice. The provision of these quarters also stands as a significant contribution to judicial independence. It reminds us that judicial independence is not sustained by constitutional declarations alone, but also strengthened when judicial officers are provided with institutional support, adequate infrastructure, proper tools of work, dignified welfare arrangements, and other working conditions that enable them to perform their adjudicative responsibilities efficiently, courageously, and with complete fidelity to the rule of law. This project is therefore a meaningful addition to that architecture. On behalf of the judges, management, and entire staff of the Judiciary of the Federal Capital Territory, I express our deep appreciation to His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, for his invaluable support and commitment to the independence of the judiciary. Your Excellency's support for this project underscores the importance of your administration attaches to justice sector reform, institutional strengthening, and the welfare of those entrusted with the sacred duty of adjudication. We acknowledge also with sincere gratitude the vision, dedication, and support of His Excellency Chief Barrister Ezenwa Nyesom Wike, CON, Life Venture, the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, for your many efforts in conceiving and bringing this important project to completion. This type of virtues can only belong to a man with a good and undiluted mind. As beneficiaries of this laudable initiative, we do not take this gesture for granted. We receive it with humility, gratitude, and renewed commitment to duty. It is worthy to note, and I am indeed happy, that this largesse is also being extended to the Court of Appeal, Federal High Court, body of benchers, the Nigerian Law School, and many other institutions. Just last month, Your Excellency also inaugurated the construction of flag of houses for the National Industrial Court and the Code of Conduct Tribunal. I wish to use this important gathering to appeal to Your Excellency that as we continue this good work, the Sharia Court of Appeal and the Customary Court of Appeal, which together with the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory constitute the judiciary of the FCC, be considered and carried along. We assure Your Excellency, the Honorable Minister of the FCT, and the good people of the Federal Capital Territory that the High Court will continue to uphold the Constitution, dispense justice without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and pursue excellence in the demand on the courts continue to expand. As a seat of government and a meeting point of diverse interests, institutions and communities, businesses and agencies, the Federal Capital Territory places a considerable responsibility on the courts. The High Court of the Federal Capital Territory remains committed to maintaining social order, protecting rights, enforcing obligations, strengthening case management, reducing delays, and sustaining public confidence in the rule of law. We shall continue to deepen reforms aimed at improving access to justice, promoting accountability, and enhancing the efficiency of the judicial process. This intervention strengthens our resolve to do more in service of justice and the rule of law. Your Excellency, my noble lords, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the commissioning of these judges' quarters is a memorable milestone in the continuing development of the FCT judiciary, but for the message it conveys. The welfare of judges matter, that the administration of justice matters, and that the rule of law remains central to good governance. Today's ceremony also represents a worthy partnership between the executive and the judiciary in pursuit of common constitutional objectives, order, and good governance. When institutions of the state one another within the bounds of constitutional support one another within the bounds of constitutional responsibility, the ultimate beneficiary is the good people of this country. Once again, I'd like to thank His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who has given the Honorable Minister the opportunity and free hand to do the good job that he's doing for the people of the Federal Capital Territory. There is no doubting the fact that your coming has witnessed tremendous change in the way the affairs of the Federal Capital Territory has been carried out and executed. You are a source of pride to us, and I'd like to thank you and congratulate you that you have the capacity, the knowledge of the job, and the willpower to do what you are doing. We do believe that for us in the Federal Capital, Your Excellency has not finished. You will continue to take us from place to place until you get the judiciary of your dream. May the FCT judiciary continue to grow in strength, dignity, efficiency, and service to the good people of this country. I thank you, Your Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief, for finding time to be here and deeming it important to commission the thing through no other person than my brother and the Chief Law Officer of the Federation, Mr. Lateef Olasunkobe Fagbemi. May God bless all of you, distinguished senators, and we have that you love the Federal Capital Territory Judiciary, and I must thank you and assure you that we will only do those things that are permitted by the law, and we never disappoint you. Thank you all for coming.
Indeed, the Chief Judge, High Court of the FCT, Honorable Justice Hussein Baba Yusuf, has delivered his intervention. And part of that commentary is that they receive with humility and gratitude this set of 20 number houses. And he adds that they will continue to give their strength to the work that they have been given, and that the strength of every democracy are strong institutions, amongst them the judiciary. Let's hear another round of applause for him, please. Thank you very much. May I reiterate my apology. To err is human, to forgive is divine, and that skip was unintentional. We thank you. We thank you for your intervention. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I know many young people who would be seeing these houses on social media and be saying, I need to be a lawyer like tomorrow because I want to live in these houses. They forget the fat books that judges have to read, staying up all night to provide judgment and to read the case so deep that they know it back to back. They also forget that there is a process, that to become a judge, you don't become a lawyer today and become a judge tomorrow. We will continue to teach the ones who are coming behind us that there is a process to everything. These buildings, they didn't just wake up and spring up. There was a process before it became this beautiful. And for that, at this moment, we would like to now invite the head of service of the FCT, Mrs. Nancy Nathan, to come forward now and deliver her vote of thanks.
The President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, ably represented by the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef O. Fagbemi, SAN, distinguished senators and honorable members of the National Assembly, serving and former, His Excellency, the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Dr. Ezenwoye Sonwike, CON, Chief Judge of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Honorable Justice Hussaini Baba Yusuf, all judges and heads of court, friends and associates of the Honorable Minister, Executive Chairman of the Area Council, senior officials of the Federal Capital Territory and Federal Capital Territory Development Authority, heads of security present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is with immense joy and deep gratitude to God that I stand to deliver this vote of thanks at the successful commissioning of the 20 number quarters for judges of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory. First, we give thanks to God Almighty for granting us the opportunity to witness this landmark event and for His protection over the Federal Capital Territory. On behalf of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for gracing this occasion and inaugurating these quarters. Your presence and commitment to strengthening our legal and judicial infrastructure, our judiciary. This noble investment in the welfare of our judges is another shining testament to your unwavering commitment to national development and institutional excellence. We sincerely appreciate the members of the National Assembly for their support and diligent oversight, which have been instrumental in facilitating this project. Our profound gratitude goes to the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Dr. Ezenwoye Sonwike, Life Bencher, and to the Honorable Minister of State, Dr. Maria Mahmoud, whose exceptional leadership tireless dedication, and remarkable execution of Mr. President's vision continue to redefine the landscape of Federal Capital Territory. Your Excellency, sir, your passion for excellence has accelerated infrastructure delivery and restored public confidence in the capacity of government to deliver transformative projects. To the judiciary, judges, magistrate, and judicial staff, thank you for your steadfast service and sacrifice in upholding Nigerians' law. We trust that these residencies will provide not only comfort, but also the serenity and inspiration required to continue dispensing justice with courage, integrity, wisdom, and impartiality. Our appreciation equally goes to the staff of the Federal Capital Territory and our stakeholders, the contractors, development partners, community leaders, security agency, media, the protocol team, and all distinguished guests whose presence has added color and significance to this occasion. We also thank the friends of the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory and the many supporters of this administration for their encouragement and confidence in the continued delivery of impactful projects across the Federal Capital Territory. As an administration, we reaffirm our commitment to providing quality services and sustainable development to the residents. We will continue to work diligently to implement projects that will meet the aspiration of our people and fulfill our mandate. Thank you all for coming. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless the Federal Capital Territory. Thank you.
Head of Service of the FCT, Mrs. Nathan. We thank you so very much for that vote of thanks, which already indicates to us that the assignment of restoring confidence in government's ability to provide infrastructure has been put at the door of the FCT, and they have done an excellent job of it across board. Thank you very much for your vote of thanks. Our special guest of honor, sir, President of the Federal Republic, represented by Attorney General, Minister of Justice, our chief host, the Honorable Minister of the FCT, our esteemed invited guests. One morning, I arrived at one of the commissioning locations 3 hours early and found an unexpected disaster. The rain had destroyed the carpets, all drenched. The canopies had been carried by a storm and deposited in a gully under a bridge. And it was still raining. It looked completely impossible to fix. The contractor brought a rig to pull out the tents from inside the gully. The event planners dried out the carpets, rejigged. The protocol staff realigned the seats, and the chief of staff was all over the place trying to ensure that everything is well fixed, considering that he's chairman organizing committee. But when everybody arrived for the event, everywhere looked serene and normal. When you walk with His Excellency, the Honorable Minister of the FCT, there is no excuse. It doesn't matter if the storm carried everything here. When he arrives, he wants to see that everybody understands that everything must look normal. And on that day, it did. Nobody knows behind the scenes of these commissionings. Nobody knows the behind the scenes of the Honorable Minister's inspection, his many late-night discourses with contractors, his attention to detail, his engagement with his staff. These conversations are sometimes very pleasant, and other times they're very hard, because the Honorable Minister of FCT insists that the job must be done and must be very well done. And the man said in one of the commissionings, when they asked me what did I do for my constituency when I was there, what am I to say? There is no doubt that he has done not just for his constituency, for other constituencies across board, delivering on promise, road after road, building after building. For a man whose greatest interest, thank you, you may clap. For a man whose greatest interest is how he can better residents and citizens of the FCT, strictly following the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President, welcome with me, please, Mr. Project, Barrister Ezenwo Nyesom Wike, Honorable Minister of the FCT.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, ably represented by the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Life Bencher, the Chief Judge of the FCT High Court, the Grand Court of the Sharia Court of Appeal, and the President Customary Court of Appeal, judges of the FCT High Court, and other heads of courts that are here, political leaders of various political parties that are here, the mandate secretaries, permanent secretaries, acting head of service, Executive Secretary of CDA, Chief of Staff, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, today is the 26th day of commissioning of projects to mark your 3rd year anniversary. Today is another promise made and promise kept. Sorry, I forgot to recognize my friend, the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Ogu Onoja, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. If there's one thing I do know that Mr. President has thought about is to how to improve the welfare, the security of the judicial officers, and how they can operate independently and perform their functions effectively. And so when we were inaugurated as ministers, I do know that Mr. President invited the Honorable Attorney General and my humble self to say that, look, yes, we have all the things we have itemized to do, but one of it is the independence of the judiciary. And how would that be? First of all, you have to improve their welfare. Secondly, you have to protect and give them security like we're talking about now. You go to most places where our judges are living, you don't even know whether they're living around armed robbers, even those that they are handling their cases. And so it has been the directive of Mr. President, something has to be done. And that is why we have to go strictly trying to provide the division, Court of Appeal division, and residencies for the justices of Court of Appeal that are in the FCT. Also the same thing for the justices of judges of the... Of course, the FCT High Court is like our own court directly. Like our own court directly. So we don't expect that they should have the same. Certainly not. That's why we provided 20 for them and then tried to intervene in the other courts. So we are very proud to be here today to see that this assignment that was that took off sometime about 1.5 years ago, like my Lord the Chief Judge said. You know, one thing I found out is that when contracts are awarded, there's always this belief that it will not be completed, that it will be abandoned projects. And I have said, we will not award contracts when we have no funds. That will not be done. Before contracts are awarded, we'll make sure there are funds to fund such projects. We have not only stopped at the residences. I know before the end of the year, we will have handed over to the FCT, to the Chief Judge, 3 structures for judges' courts and the magistrate courts, so that they'll be able to carry out their work very efficiently. And what it happens, that the Chief Judge will handle this. And there's nobody that will be here that will not want to have a space. And so I've been thinking, how would you handle it? I'm sure that most of your colleagues are waiting if you make any mistake. I do know you will not make mistake. The right thing must be done. I was discussing with one of the judges who incidentally from my state, and he said, look, all our minds are here. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, as you leave, we are packing it to our houses. I said, on what basis? He said, on owner occupy. I said, okay. And then when I was governor, I did that because I was governor. But now I'm a minister under somebody. I must seek the approval. Luckily, the Attorney General is there. And that's what it's supposed to be, that the houses be owner occupier basis. And we can assure you, with the support of Mr. Attorney General, that that approval will be gotten. And again, we're not going to stop here. We're going to build more houses for the judges of the FCT. I know that the number is such that we can't carry all at the same time. I believe that before the first tenure of Mr. President expires, we would have gone far in the construction of 20 more houses for the judges of the FCT High Court. But you see, I have to say this. You know, in every position we occupy, you are about to have criticisms. Leadership is not easy. Leadership is not only when things are good. Leadership is also when things are bad. Where you have now, I'm sure most of you would have read in social media when I was being accused of grabbing land. This is part of the land I was grabbing. It's part of the land I was grabbing. You know, when you're in a position and you want to do the right thing, people will come out to say all kinds of things. But for us, we must continue to be focused and do our job. When I came here, this was Julius Berger's land, and there are no roads. And then I asked Julius Berger, you have had this land for how many years? Over 30 years. So what are you waiting for? He said there are no infrastructure. As a company like you, no infrastructure, no problem. I've taken the land back for overriding public interest. And then I called the CGC to come and do all the roads here. And before you knew it, houses have started springing up. I'm happy that the contractor has done a good job. I'm sure when you have the opportunity to go into one of the houses and see the level of furnishing, you will be happy. But again, if it becomes your personal property, it will be necessary that if somebody comes here, it should look this way, not where you will see refuse everywhere. It's disheartening that government will spend money and build for public officers. The next thing you see, you say, we regret doing that. I don't think that is necessary. We must make sure that if it becomes our wish, we pray it should, and we're going to work very hard to make sure that we get that presidential approval. But if I was the governor, I would as well just announce it immediately. But somebody appointed me to work on his behalf. There are things I cannot just say, even though I'm in support of it. I have somebody who will support me always when it concerns matters of welfare of our judicial officers. So please, I beg you, if you are privileged to be one of those that will, please let it be the next 6 months when any of us will have the opportunity to even visit. Let it also look nice and and attractive. So, Mr. President, on this note, I invite you to come and commission this project and talk to the judicial officers to the glory of God. Thank you. God bless you.
let's have our seats. Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Chief Nyesom Wike, CON, Live Venture, members of the National Assembly here present, and I recognize the former Deputy Speaker, my noble Lord, the Honorable, the Chief Judge of Federal Capital Territory, Honorable Justice Hussein Baba Yusuf, my Lord, the Grand Cadi of Sharia Court of Appeal, Honorable Justice Ibrahim Rufai Imam, President Customary Court of Appeal, Honorable Justice Stanley Adekunle. Other heads of court here present, my very noble lords, judges of the High Court of Federal Capital Territory and other jurisdictions here present, members or judges of the Sharia Court of Appeal and Customary Court of Appeal of Federal Capital Territory, my very good friend, learned brother of the Silk, Chief Onoja, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Head of Service of the Federal Capital Territory, Lady Nancy Nathan, the Chief of Staff, Executive Chairman of the Area Council, Mandate Secretary, the Permanent Secretary, staff of the Federal Capital Territory, Federal Capital Development Authority, my very good sister, Professor Eugenia Abu, members of the Fourth Estate of the REM, ladies and gentlemen. It is with immense pride that I stand before you once again here in Katampe District of the Federal Capital Territory to commission these 20 newly completed residential accommodations for judges of the Federal Capital Territory High Court. Today marks the 26th day of continuous commissioning of qualitative, impactful, and high-profile and capital-intensive projects undertaken by the Federal Capital Territory Administration under the indefatigable leadership of Honorable Minister Nyesom Wike, CON, Live Venture. Today's event, therefore, is not merely the unveiling of another building. It is a testament to a deliberate and sustained commitment to strengthening one of the vital pillars of our democracy, that is the judiciary. When we embarked on the Renewed Hope agenda 3 years ago, we promised to rebuild institutional trust, secure our nation, and ensure that the rule of law is neither compromised nor delayed. Today, with the commissioning of these 20 units of FCT High Court Judges Quarters, we take another definitive, tangible steps towards fulfilling that promise. This commissioning does not stand alone. It is part of a broader, deliberate intervention by my administration. Earlier in this season of commissioning projects executed by the FCT administration, we handed over 10 units of similarly world-class residential quarters for judges of the Court of Appeal and another 10 for judges of the Federal High Court, all here in Katampe. We also commissioned the first phase of the 10 units for lecturers and staff of the Nigerian Law School, and the second phase has commenced in earnest. We also held groundbreaking ceremonies for residential quarters for judges of the National Industrial Court and the Code of Conduct Tribunal. Today, it is the turn of the Federal Capital Territory High Court judges. I am aware of media commentary from certain quarters suggesting that the FCT administration's provision for judges' quarters is intended to exert improper influence on the judiciary. I ask simply, did those same critics level that charge against the 10 staff quarters recently commissioned for lecturers of the Nigerian Law School, with more still promised? if every act of infrastructural provision is to be read as a corrupting influence, then even decent housing for our law lecturers will fall under this suspicion. That cannot be a fair standard. And for the opt-in time, I say that this is an intervention project and has nothing to do with the project or budget of the judiciary, which is intact and is ongoing and is respected. I will nonetheless be candid. Such interventions do not exert influence. I agree. The real question is what kind of influence these facilities are meant to inspire. Commitment, free our judicial officers to focus on their solemn duties, to preserve the rule of law, enable them to adjudicate without discomfort, and provide the fulfillment and security that allow them to give their very best to the nation. And that is the type of influence that these projects are meant to exert. Taken together, these projects send a clear message or signal that this government is committed to the comfort, security, and protection of our judicial officers and to safeguarding the independence of the judiciary as a whole. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we often speak of judicial independence in abstract terms, but independent thinking requires an independent and secure environment. We cannot expect judges to dispense justice without fear or favor if their basic comfort, security, and peace of mind are left to chance. True judicial independence is built on the dignity of our judicial officers. By providing these state-of-the-art residential quarters across multiple courts, we ensure that our judges and justices work from a place of security, comfort, and utmost dignity. This is a deliberate shield against vulnerability, a statement that Nigeria values those who interpret our laws. At this juncture, I must pause to salute the tireless, dynamic, and unapologetically focused Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, CON. The transforming Abuja into a capital that reflects our national ambition is a demanding task. Through steady execution and close attention to detail, the Honorable Minister and his team have turned plans into structures and serve our judges, our citizens, and future of this country, of this city. I also express my deep appreciation to the leadership of the judiciary. The collaboration between the executive and the judiciary under this administration remains a proud example of intergovernmental harmony for collective good of our people. These staff quarters are part of a broader strategy, practical, tangible support aimed at ensuring that our judicial system operates effectively and sustainably. To our lordships who will occupy these quarters, this country looks up to you as we provide infrastructure to make our lives easier and your service safer. We only ask in return for your unwavering commitment to the swift, fair, and transparent dispensation of justice for government undeservedly. Let it be a daily reminder of the trust the nation has placed in you. Let these homes be center of deep reflection, integrity, and honor. Let the judgments that emanate from your minds continue to strengthen the fabric of our democracy. On that note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is now my singular honor and privilege to officially commission the 20-unit judges' quarters for Federal Capital Territory High Court judges here in Katampe District, to the glory of Almighty God and for the service of humanity and justice in Nigeria. I want to thank you all for listening to me, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Now for the official commissioning of 20-number judges' quarters for FCT High Court judges in Katampe. His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, represented by the Attorney General. He's been led by the Honorable Minister of the FCT to inspect the houses and to do the honors of the commissioning. Please keep the music down so we can hear them from over there.
What to the glory of God, the comfort of our judges, and the smooth administration of justice, it is my honor and privilege to declare or cut the tape. Thank you.
No, don't worry.
Yeah. 20 number judges' quarters for Federal Capital Territory.
The official commissioning of 20 number judges' quarters for FCT High Court judges at Katampe District has been carried out by our special guest of honor, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, represented by the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. The inspection of these beautiful houses will now be done. The Honorable Minister is taking the special guest of honor around the building, and when that is done, this official commissioning will be concluded.